Welcome to This Week in High School Sports, and I guess we are not going to talk about Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, if only. Yeah, no spoiler alerts here. I don't even watch the show, so you're safe.
Me either.
Feel free to tune in.
Anyway, we were talking off camera about other things related to that show, which by the time you watch this, you probably will all know what happened. But thanks to our sponsor, Red Onion Cafe and the Seafood Bar, and we're getting down to the wire with teams finally being eliminated or moving on, or we got
much like Game of Thrones. Yeah. People getting eliminated. We're coming on to the end of the season, so you're very right, Teresa.
Wow,
That's
we
correct.
figured out a way to kind of make this relevant.
It all ties in, yeah,
Wow.
doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now in terms of sports. And one of the sports we're going to talk about first is softball. The softball state tournament is coming up this week, so therefore districts just wrapped up where teams are trying to qualify for state. One team, not much of a surprise here, the Meadowdale Mavericks. We're going to congratulate the Mavs. They win the district championship, which not completely unexpected. They were first place going into the tournament. They were undefeated, but still there's some very formidable opponents out there, and they were able to get through them, winning their final game. And Kate Houghton, if she didn't already have a T-shirt, we'd give her the Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week, but we're going to save that for later on in the show. She retired the first 15 Snohomish Panther batters. So had a perfect game going into the sixth inning on Thursday to win the district championship. So Meadowdale moving on, seventh time I think in 8 years, third time they've won the district championship in 4 years. So congratulations to them. And another team that I wasn't sure we would be talking about this week, fortunately we are, the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. They take the fourth and final spot in that district tournament. I think they went in as a 7 seed. So expectations weren't necessarily there, but the girls in the game that was a loser out, winner to state game, jumped out to a 9-0 lead on Marysville Pilchuck, then made it a little bit interesting. Pilchuck came back and scored 6 runs, but nonetheless, Edmonds-Woodway wins 9-6, and those girls will also be heading down to Lacey along with Meadowdale this coming Friday for that state championship. So 16 teams left, and 2 of our teams are there. So unfortunately, Mount Lake Terrace didn't quite make the cut this week. They had a nice little run going in the districts, but after beating Linden on that first day, but came up a little bit short. So we're down to 2 softball teams right now.
Yeah, wow. It's congratulations to both those teams. We'll look forward to seeing how they do. So now we are going to move into, as we always know, my favorite sport, tennis.
We are going to talk a little tennis. Tennis is a sport that's also coming up on the state championships this week. And we have one particular young lady locally here who did very well for herself. Natalie Paulson, she's going to be taking her first attempt at a state tournament this coming week. She's only a sophomore. She qualified in districts this week. And she, along with 2 of her teammates who had an outstanding year on the doubles side of things, were in studio. And we had a nice conversation with 3 of the members of the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors tennis team. Tennis season is wrapping up at the state level. We've got the state championships coming up this weekend, and joining us right now from the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, 3 ladies who have had an outstanding year playing tennis, 2 of which saw their season come to an end at districts this week. However, there's nothing to be ashamed of there. It's quite the honor just to get there the way that the field was loaded this year. And then we've got a singles player who is heading to state over in the Tri-Cities. Joining us right now are 2 doubles players, the number 1 doubles team at Edmonds-Woodway. We have Alexi Huffman on the end, she's a junior, and Christabel Jamison. And then sandwiched in between, somehow the doubles players weren't sitting with each other. Natalie Paulson, only a sophomore, and yet she is one of the 4 players in Wesco that is heading over to play in the state tournament. Ladies, first of all, congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
And I'm going to start with you, Natalie. Getting through the singles at District 1 for Wesco, never an easy thing. You've got some really top-notch players there. Yeah. Only a sophomore, and yet you're one of the 4 players that's moving on. What were the expectations coming into this? Because you know that there's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I was just happy that I was able to advance into districts first of all, because I thought that was just an accomplishment within itself. But being able to even place, that was just really exciting. I was telling myself, even if I do lose, even if I don't make it, I'm just happy that I get the exposure and the experience to play with some really talented tennis players. So, yeah, but the fact that I was actually able to place and advance into state was just so exciting.
And you didn't just place or advance. You had to do it the hard way. We played best 2 out of 3 sets. You're playing Grace Schroeder from Squalicum. You played her earlier in the season, right?
Yes.
And how did you do in that match?
Yeah, I played her in the divisional tournament beforehand, and I did lose 4-6, 4-6 against her, so I knew she was one to beat. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then when I played against her again, it was a very close match. It was a long match too, like 2.5 hours or something, I'd say. I lost the first set, 2-6. Then the second set I was down 2-5, and then I won the next 5 games, so 7-5. And then the third set I was able to separate that gap, and I won 6-2. So that was really exciting.
What's the mindset when you're down 5-2 to a player who you've already lost previously to a week earlier in straight sets, and you just lost the set right before that? I mean, at that point, are some reservations coming in about maybe I'm not good enough to beat her at this particular time in my career? Or
I mean, when I play, I always make sure to stay focused and stay determined no matter where I am. And at that point, I had some doubts. I was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to place, but I was trying to keep calm because the last thing I want to do is get angry because that'll only throw off my playing even more. So yeah, I just stayed focused. I was like, okay, come on, let's try and win a couple more games. And we ended up doing that. We won a couple more games, and we ended up actually beating her, which is really nice. But she was also a really good player too, so that was some great competition, a nice match to win too, so...
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So she'll be heading over to state, and we'll talk about that here shortly. Alexi and Christabel, really great season for you. You came within one match of getting to state yourselves, and again, in a Wesco league that's just always so loaded with talent, not an easy task. And Alexi, I'll start with you on this one because you've been a little banged up this year. You haven't played in quite as many matches as you'd like, and you were playing hurt on the last match too. What's the year been like for you, just trying to kind of work your way through pain and injury and to try to get to this point?
Well, the beginning of the season, it was good. It was fun. And then I hurt my knee at a soccer tournament. So then I came back and just couldn't really, move around the court as much. But this year it's been fun, seeing everyone play, who I don't get to see. And
Gives you a chance to watch. You were mentioning to me off camera, you've been able to observe a little more, right? Mm-hmm. And just kind of watch other players play. And
the other number one singles and two singles, I don't really get to see as much, and I get to see the underclassmen who are gonna move up in the ladder from other schools and our school, and it's just, I learn more. I think observing each player. It's really fun, especially watching these two play. It was really fun watching them.
Well, and Christabel, we talked about it. You made it to the district tournament. You have to go through a divisional tournament just to get there, and that's not easy in itself.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the success from the divisional tournament that the two of you had.
We did pretty well in the divisional tournament. I think we only lost to Shorecrest. Yeah, that was the...
And everybody
other
seems to
one.
lose to Shorecrest this year. So.
They're pretty good. But yeah, it was pretty... It was nice having a partner for that because I usually play singles. And I started playing doubles with Alexi to get to state. And it's nice to have a partner to kind of keep you motivated and have you in the right mindset all the time because we always give each other little claps, kind of try to cheer each other up when we miss or...
Had the two of you played doubles before together, or was this the first time?
No, it was the first time.
Is that a big adjustment in itself? I mean, obviously tennis is tennis, but at the same time, you still need to have a chemistry on the court and whatnot. And what is that like when you first go out and play doubles with somebody?
I think we were both kind of nervous because we were both
Yeah.
last year I played doubles, and then I went to singles, so I was kind of I don't know if I'm going to be good at doubles again. But then we've been hitting off season together a couple times, so I think that helps coming together for the doubles.
Yeah.
We had good chemistry on the court. I
And
think.
we know each other pretty well, so I mean, yeah.
And then we mentioned it already, and not that you're one to make excuses, but I'll make it for you. You ended up playing that last match hurt, or at least Alexi did. Mm-hmm. You're playing against Isabel Rianol and Kelsey Cummins from over at Meadowdale, two players you know fairly well. Mm-hmm. Two players I believe you beat the week before, right?
Yeah.
So going into that match, Alexi, were you feeling pretty good when you got up that day, or was it more of did you kind of re-aggravate the knee during the match?
I think the day before I kind of re-aggravated it a little, but not that much, so I didn't really think of it. I just iced and stuff. But then we woke up and we were pumped up. We were we got this.
Yeah.
And then the third set came around, and I just made a few different weird turns and pivots, and it just started hurting, and I couldn't fully take off and run for the ball. So we had to take a timeout break in the third set, and then after that I just couldn't really move around the court.
Yeah, and could you tell right away, Christabel?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, we were to start off the match. We were down the first set. Like we lost the first set. I think it was kind of we had the we were pretty nervous. Both of us were pretty nervous. So that didn't really cancel out. And then we came back in the second set and we won that. And then third set we were playing and I think we were down. But then that was when Alexi got hurt. And I think we probably could have made a comeback, but yeah, I mean, I knew that.
It's always disappointing when your season comes to an end in one particular match or game or whatever the sport. But now that you've had a few days to reflect, feel pretty good about the way things played out this year. I mean, you're only juniors, so you get to come back and try it again next year.
Yeah.
What's the mindset right now, kind of as you look forward?
I mean,
I'm excited for next season.
yeah.
So I didn't really get to play much this season, so I'm just I'm kind of pumped for next season. So it's last year, and hopefully no more injuries. So
Stay healthy and get ready to go. Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit already, but Natalie's heading off to state this week. What is the itinerary, Natalie? We don't know who you're going to play as of right now when we're recording this on Sunday. 16 tennis players left, and you're one of them. So
Yeah.
do you get a chance to study? I mean, it's not like baseball or football where you get to go watch video of opponents. Just kind of show up and play your own match. Is that what you're planning on doing?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm heading into, but I'm just going to make sure I keep on practicing, hopefully every day or at least every other day, just to keep myself warmed up so I don't get out of it, and maybe try different techniques and work on stuff that I need work on, so hopefully I can play my best when it comes to state.
And what is the itinerary? Because you start on Friday morning, correct?
Yes.
And we should mention everybody's going with you, right? So this
Yeah.
is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And these two are going to not only go, but they're not just observing; they're going to be participating, so to speak, as well, right? What's the plan there?
Yeah, since I was the only girl to make it, I needed a hitting partner to go or to hit with, and also people to stay at the hotel room with me. So I didn't know really who to choose in between these two. I'd like to have both of these or both of these girls. So yeah, the fact that both of them get to come with me, it's really exciting because it'll just be so much more fun with them too, and I'm just glad they get to experience. Alexi's already experienced it before, but I'm glad that Sebel
Yeah.
or Christabel also gets to experience it too. So that's really fun.
So in a way, are the two of you pretty excited about that trip too? Then I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've never even been to state before, so it's gonna be my first time, and hopefully it gets me pumped for next year and wanting to push myself to do it and make it there.
and Coach Chris is going as well as the other girls,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
And the boys who made it to state too, I think it was Will
Yeah.
into the doubles.
And then, yeah, one of our doubles teams, they were actually alternate to state. They get to advance too because the top, the people who were seeded number one in districts, apparently one of their players got hurt. So unfortunately, they can't compete into state. So, yeah, we get to have a doubles and a singles for the boys. So that's,
We kind of forget about that because the boys' season was back in the fall, but the way it's set up at the state, they don't get to play until May. They have to kind of put everything on hold. So now all of a sudden, Will and the rest of the guys are playing. So who's all going over from the boys again? Can we get a reminder on that?
Will's going in singles, and then Jordan's his hitting partner.
Yeah.
And then the doubles team, they're still maybe, because I think IB exams, but that's Alec and Andrew.
Okay, so we've got a nice contingent of folks from Edmonds-Woodway heading over there, so it should be fun. And we should mention, too, I want to bring up some of the other girls on the team. Who else have we been watching this year? And Alexi, give me a couple doubles partners' names that we should know about that had successful seasons.
I think definitely Marla and Dara. They had a really good season this year. One of them Dara was on JV last year, and then she worked up all the way to number one doubles. So we're really happy for her. And then our seniors, they were our number two doubles.
Yeah,
Rosemary and Alice. We're gonna miss them a lot. They did really. They're our captains this year.
Yeah.
They're always super positive about everything and super uplifting. And then Allison and Sam, another seniors, and
Yeah.
their power team.
yeah.
And Natalie, since you were, all of you really have played a lot of singles over the time, but
Yeah.
who are some of the other singles players that were playing this year?
So besides Alexi and Sebel, usually who'd be right below me is actually Emma Wetzel, the freshman, the only freshman on our team. She's a really valuable player, so she's really good. She won most of her matches, usually 6-0, 6-0. She's really good. And then we'd usually have Gabby, who's a junior, and Issa, who's a junior. They usually play for like 4 singles whenever one of us are out. So they're all
I'm hearing a lot of, I mean, 3 of you are all underclassmen, a lot of youth on this team.
yeah.
So this is going to be a powerhouse team next year, perhaps. So should be kind of fun to see how this plays out and to see what happens. Tell me a little bit about each other's games real quick, too. Maybe I'll just kind of go down the line and have you give me a couple sentences. Alexi, tell me a little bit about Natalie next to you there on your left. What kind of a player is she when you watch her? You said you had a chance to analyze her a little bit when you were injured, so.
She has really nice ground strokes. Like, when she can move around the court really fast, and, like, we're always really surprised, like, we're like, oh, maybe she won't get that ball, because, like, it's, like, really short, and then, like, she bolts up there and just, like, how did she get that? And then she, like, has really nice winners, and, like, she's very, like, athletic as, like, a person, we think. So we're always like, yeah, that's our underclassman. Like, she's going to do good.
She's the one that you go out there and you watch for the athleticism then. And go ahead.
I'd
Yeah.
also mention her determinism. She really, like, going up from 5-2 in a match and then winning it twice, actually. It's just so crazy, and the way that she works so hard, and you can see it on the court. She's always trying to, like she'll, like, mess up or do something, and she'll be like, okay, no, I got this. And, like, it's pretty
Like, we
amazing.
never see her get down on herself.
Yeah,
She's, like,
yeah.
always, like, uplifting herself. Like, we always see her, like, kind of, like, pumped her fist sometime, and it's like,
She's got this at that
Yeah.
point, right? Well, and it is a psychological game. So you see a lot of players, at the different levels of tennis too, kind of folding at times when they start to get down. So that's an attribute that's really important to have out there. So Natalie, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Tell me a little bit about Christabel. What kind of a player is she?
So one thing about Christabel, I think she's a very consistent tennis player. Like, she's one of the main people I hit with if it's not Alexi, and I can always make some nice long rallies out of her. She's just really good overall with everything from her serves to her ground strokes to her volleys. I want to say one thing about her volleys. I think she has some really nice volleys because she tends to slice the ball when she volleys them, so it makes the ball, when it touches the ground, it bounces and it has a weird spin to it, so people usually can't get to it. So she has some really nice volleys, and that kind of goes with her serves too, because it's kind of the same motion. So yeah, I'd say she's just really consistent and has a lot of, she plays pretty strategically, so she has nice strokes when it comes to that, so she's a really good tennis player.
Slicing something that comes natural to you, or do you put a lot of time into that?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to work on, like, not slicing, because I've been hitting balls into the net that are too short. But yeah, especially with my volleys, like, I tend to, like, snap my wrist too, which I'm trying to fix that. But yeah.
It seems to be working for you. So
I mean, yeah.
Natalie's noticed. and then let's have you circle it back around. Tell me a little bit about Alexi.
Alexi.
Your
She
doubles
has-
partner. So
Yeah. She has some really nice form. Like, her ground strokes are so, like, close to the net and super hard to get back. Like, I've noticed you also have some good angles too on balls. That, like, sometimes you just blast it and they just wouldn't get it back. It would be, like, all the way on the other side of the court, and yeah, that's pretty funny. And your serves also are pretty hard, and they're pretty consistent too. You did pretty well with that.
I'd like to add on to that.
Sure.
I would say just all of her hits in general are super, like, hard, which can be intimidating. Like, she's one of the main people on the team. Like, when I play against her, I get some good rallies, but I'm also a little bit nervous because I know she can hit the ball really hard, so sometimes I don't know what to expect. So, but yeah, she just has some monster shots.
the power hitter over there.
Yeah.
So it seems like everybody has a lot of fun with one another. It's a good camaraderie. I mean, and hopefully maybe some more memories made this week. Any fun moments that we should know about this season? I know Christabel, we got to put you on the spot right away because
Okay.
so Coach Dan Christ took one to the noggin earlier this year from you. Huh?
Yeah, we were playing a little game, like, everyone was trying to hit a ball into the basket, and I, like, lobbed it pretty high, and then, like, it hit him in the shoulder, and then it smacked him in the face. And he turned around, and I, like, kind of, like, ducked down because I was scared he was going to hit me. But I think he was just kind of startled.
and she did it twice that day, too.
Oh, you got him twice, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Did you go out and buy a lottery ticket that night? It's pretty good odds
Honestly,
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, and she hit me twice that day, too.
Okay.
Yeah, she
So you were just aiming for people at that
It
point.
was, yeah, okay. It was accident, though, and I think it startled him more. He was fine.
But those are the kind of moments you end up laughing about looking
Yeah,
back
definitely.
30 years from now, right? So, and then Alexi, you gave everybody a fun moment on the bus ride this year, right? Did you call 911 on accident?
I did. Don't really know how. I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I wasn't really paying attention to their conversations. It was something about, like, movies, and I was like, well, this is kind of boring. So I just went on my phone, and I saw this thing, like how to call 911 if you're ever in trouble. And I was like, oh, let's try this out. And I didn't know, because I thought you had to press a button, but no, it just automatically calls. And it started making this really loud noise, and I didn't really know how to turn it off at first. So Mr. Chris was like, what is that? What's going on? I was like, But I finally turned it off, and he was like, are you trying to call 911 on us? And I was like, no.
So this is an entire bus full of players on the way back from a district match, and this is going off, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody a little nervous at that point, thinking that.
Yeah, a little.
When we heard that sound, we were
Yeah.
like, what is that? We all went silent. We looked at we looked over at Alexi. We're like, what?
So long bus ride to the Tri-Cities this week, so we're not going to be making the 911 calls, right? Well, again, excellent. So it sounds like it's been a fun season all around, and yeah, a lot of success, and hopefully more to come. Again, a sophomore and 2 juniors here at the table, and they both exceeded quite a few expectations this year. So, hey, congratulations on a real successful 2019 season. We're not done with you yet, Natalie, so best of luck to you next week over there.
you.
And hopefully we're talking about her again on our final show when we give results from the state tournaments. And ladies, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you.
Well, it's exciting to hear the Warriors going back to state for tennis. And, I was also glad to hear that Dan Christ is continuing to send players who are younger, who are just there to watch and kind of support, because that helps them to build their confidence. That's what happened when my daughter was a freshman. She went as an alternate, and I remember that it was just so helpful for her to be in that environment early and to not feel so intimidated when she went back later.
You see that in pro sports from time to time. A lot of times teams will actually take rookies and send them to whether it be World Series or NBA Finals, or wanting them to kind of get that experience and wanting them to have a feel for, hey, this is what it looks like. This is what you're striving for. A little extra motivation, and it also just, if they ever do get to that stage, the lights aren't maybe quite as bright because they've already experienced it. So, and it's a great experience for Natalie too, for that matter. And, and for those other 2 young ladies, they came so close to making it anyway on their own.
Yeah.
And perhaps if Alexi hadn't injured her knee, it might be a different story.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, and we also do want to give a shout out to Isabel Ryanall and Kelsey Cummins, who defeated the 2 of them. Those 2 young ladies are from Meadowdale, so they're also qualified and heading on over there. So definitely a little bit of a Edmonds School District flair to it in that regard as well. And also the boys that were mentioned during the show, because we kind of forget about them.
Yeah.
They play their season in the fall, and then if they qualify for state, like guys like Will, they then have to wait until May to pick up that. They're already playing, obviously, but to pick up that racket at the high school competitive level and go back over there and play again. So it should be a fun week for them.
Yeah, it will be. And, for all of those who are qualifying for state, it's such a big honor. And even if you didn't, just to get to districts is a big accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, not
people
everybody.
forget
I
that.
think you tend to think that everybody's at districts, and it's not the case, especially in a sport like tennis.
Right.
They do kind of weed everybody out through the divisionals, and so for those young ladies like Christabel and Alexi to get where they did. Yeah, especially in an area where this is fairly rich in tennis. I mean, we have some really quality teams up here in Wesco, and for them to get within 1 match and within 1 set, really, of making it to state, it's a heck of a season. And they're only juniors.
Yep, that's right. Future looks bright.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we say. So let's talk about track and field.
Yeah, again, we're talking a lot of districts this week because all of the state championships are coming up next week. And our 3A schools, Meadowdale, Linwood, Edmonds-Woodway, were all over at Shoreline Stadium on Wednesday and Friday, trying to qualify athletes into next week's state championships. Too many track members to mention here in terms of who all qualified, but we did want to make a few notes based on folks who took first at the district championships. Why not give away a shirt right away, too? I'm going to give one to Alex Nguyen this week. Linwood High School took first place in the 100, which is always a marquee event at track anyway. And you've got guys like Chinadu Achalana, who also, by the way, had a fantastic weekend. So nice job, Chinadu. Chinadu took third, and I think he might have even won this last year. Alex took first with an 11.15 in the 100. He also took second in the 200 and was instrumental in Linwood winning the 4x100 relay. So, Alex, you had yourself a nice weekend. You're heading to state. We're going to give you a shirt as well. So congratulations. You are an Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. Other male track members who did fantastic. We already mentioned Chinadu. He won the 200 and the 400. We've been saying his name a lot in the track world the last couple of years. From Edmonds-Woodway, Grant Christian won the 800. Dylan Hartano won the 1600. Edmonds-Woodway girls won the 4x100, 4x200, and the 4x400. I sense another shirt coming on here. Caddy Kangura, she was a member of all three of those relay teams, and she took third in the 200 individual. So, Caddy, 3 wins for you, a third. We got a shirt for you, so we're going to give you that shirt as well. So, congratulations to you. Also, we should make note that the Edmonds-Woodway boys and girls as a team won the overall championship. So, again, 15 schools, I believe, competing. Boys taking first place as a team, the girls taking first place as a team. A lot of Warriors doing some great things out on the track and in the field this year. We wish them all the best. Also, the 2A districts took place over the course of the last few days. And Mount Lake Terrace with 2 district champions individually. 2 names we've mentioned on the show before. Noah Thompson wins the discus throw. And then Brandon Bach, who is a former state champion, won the javelin. So a lot going on there. A lot of great track coming up. And our athletes will be down at Mount Tahoma High School in Tacoma this coming weekend for the state championships.
That's great. Well, we should expect some impressive results coming out of that,
Absolutely,
as we always
yeah.
do. All right, so now we need to talk about golf.
Golf, I'm sounding like a broken record. It's time for state.
Yep.
State championships coming up, and we had a few different golfers, boys and girls, who have qualified this week. I want to mention a few names here. From Edmonds-Woodway, Rachel Putz and Jordan Easter. They're going to be heading on down to Lacey for the state championships early this week. On the boys' side of things, Silas Putz and Josh Nelson from Edmonds-Woodway qualified, as did Morgan Subert from Mount Lake Terrace. But the team that's really kind of caught everybody's eye this year is the Meadowdale girls. Girls golfers, first time ever they've won a Wesco championship. They were undefeated in match play this year for the league. And they changed the format this year. If you have the team score to qualify, your entire starting team goes. So the Meadowdale golfers, 5 of them heading down, and I think most of them, if not all of them, would have even qualified individually. They've all been doing fantastic across the board. So we finally decided it was time to bring the Mavs golfers into the studio. And we had a conversation with 2 of the golfers, Hannah and Moriah, to talk about the team and to talk about their successes this year. Here's our conversation with the Meadowdale Mavericks girls golf team members. The golf state championships are coming up this week, and joining us right now are 2 young ladies who are going to be participating. But more so than that, listen to these stats. Undefeated in league play this year were the Meadowdale Mavericks. Wesco League champs for the first time in school history. Second place at districts amongst 14, 15 schools. Yeah. It's been a banner year for the Meadowdale Mavericks golf team. And joining us right now, Hannah Petterson, the only senior on the team, so that's a young team. And then a junior, Moriah Frisby, on the end. Ladies, congratulations. You've taken this program where it's never been before.
Yeah,
Thank
very
you.
exciting.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Hannah, this is a team that not only is it young, but not a lot of returning players from last year.
Yeah.
How many? Do we know? And
3.
it's 3 of you.
4?
Yeah. No, we had a big return this year.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5 this year.
But not a lot in terms of just sheer numbers.
Yeah,
so
we had a small team our entire
Last year we had a very small
career.
team.
So
is this a surprise? I mean, did you see this coming?
No, not at all.
no, we didn't see it
we
coming.
didn't think that it was going to be this big.
So where does it come from then? I mean, Hannah, I'll start with you first. I mean, this is a team that, again, Meadowdale not exactly known for its girls golf program,
Yeah.
and here we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So
I think that we all just knew that we all needed to put a lot of practice in if we wanted to be where we wanted to go, and just focus on what we really wanted. So that was a big part of it.
Moriah, if I had told you 3 months ago that we were going to be talking about an undefeated league season and a Wesco championship, would you have told me there was a chance?
I would say there's a chance. I know Mary knew that we could do a lot better than we were doing, and it was seeing our scores go lower and lower was something that didn't surprise me, but it was really great to see, and I'm glad that we got them down. So it was crazy though. I can't believe it.
I can imagine. And let's talk a little bit about the Wesco League Championship. Then you get to put a plaque up in the gym too, which Jim's been a little bare, right, for those. So that's going to be kind of neat. And Moriah, we were talking about it before the cameras were rolling. There a little bit of math going into this too, right? Because it's not as though you're playing baseball where there's a winner and a loser at the end of a game. This was a kind of an accumulation of points throughout the year. So during that last match at Wesco, scores are being tallied to see if you even have the championship, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what was that moment like? Was there a particular moment when a golfer came in and gave you a score, handed it over, and you realized we just won this thing?
Yeah, I think once Arlington, I think it was, no, not Arlington, it was Shorewood and Archbishop Murphy. Once their last two players came in each team, we like saw them go up on the board and we like did all the math and we were looking at it and we were like, I think we just got second, which makes us Wesco champs.
Yeah.
And,
Because Woodway beat us by a few
Yeah.
strokes.
For that particular event?
yeah, for that
Yeah.
particular
But we
event,
had so many league points that it
Yeah.
ranked us back up to
Yeah.
in first place overall. So that was very exciting.
Hannah, you've been at this for a few years now. You're a senior.
Yeah.
When you're playing and there's so much on the line in terms of a team title, do you feel a little extra pressure in some ways,
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
that, hey, I'm playing for these other girls now too?
Oh yeah, for sure. Going off the first tee, you're just thinking, okay, like this match really counts, and like every stroke is gonna be up on that board, so you need to really focus. And there's definitely a lot of stress in it, but you just gotta remember, if you're gonna stress yourself out, it's gonna make it worse. So just play, have fun, and also like focus within, play seriously, but don't take it too seriously.
Sure. Moriah, is this a team that encourages each other fairly well? I mean, everybody knows
Yeah,
that it takes a whole team effort here, right?
Yeah, it takes a whole team effort. I think that knowing that our team could win as like all of us makes it so we're more accountable for like our playing, and like we're a lot smarter with how we play because we're thinking about how this affects all of us instead of just like it's my score. So it's really nice though because we all like work hard for each other, which is cool.
And they've changed the format at state this year too a little bit. In the past, it was only individual players who qualified to move on. Now you actually qualify as a team, and some of the individuals on other teams, if their team isn't as strong, still get through. But this is a team that's going through now. And last year, Hannah, you were the lone representative of Meadowdale.
Yeah.
So is it pretty neat to know that all these girls are coming with you this
Oh
year?
yeah, it's really exciting because last year I was lonely at state, didn't have my team with me, but Woodway was super inviting and made me feel like part of their team, so it was fun.
Well, and you told me a story beforehand that I didn't even know about because we had Frances Monahan on last year on our show from Edmonds-Woodway, and I understand that she and her family kind of helped make you feel like you were part of the Warrior team last year.
Yeah, definitely. They rented a house and they invited my family over and our coach and had a barbecue and just made us all feel super welcome and as part of their team. So yeah, that was really super nice of them.
So now you're slumming it. You're staying in a hotel, right?
Yeah, now.
And Moriah, how excited are you? I mean, this is for you. I know Hannah's been to state all 4
Yeah.
years, twice as a regular player and once as an alternate. So you're kind of used to this by now. But Moriah, this is your
Yeah.
first experience coming up this week.
Well, I mean, it's just really, like, I'm excited. I'm really excited to go play, and, like, it's nice knowing that my individual score would have made it on its own, because, like, it feels like I earned it to get here as, like, myself, and it's my first year going, so, like, it's gonna be fun. No expectations, I'm just gonna play.
So we will see what happens. They're going to be down in Lacey, too, we should add. So that's where the last year's state championship
Spokane.
was over in Spokane, so on the other side of the mountains there. So a little bit closer to home this time.
Closer.
Yeah, much closer, an easier drive. So let's
Oh,
go
yeah.
over the itinerary here. We're recording this on a Sunday. Tomorrow we head on down to get a practice round in, and then Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday's the first day, and then if you make it, you go on to Wednesday.
Okay,
and
so
play.
Hawks Prairie Golf Course in Lacey. Anybody played there before? Anybody?
No, I've never even
No,
heard
yeah,
of it.
no.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it should be a good practice round tomorrow.
Have we Googled the course at all? Have
Yeah.
we looked it up? And
I've
Yeah,
Googled it and
I've looked at
over
it,
the
yeah.
little scope of it.
so what do we think from what we've seen on from images on Google?
There's definitely a lot of water that I can see from it, but it should be a good challenge and
Yeah.
something different.
It'll be fun to
That's-
play. And even if we don't make it the second day, it'll
So
be
we
fun
got
for
there
us
as a
all to be
team.
there as a team
Sure.
and like spend that time together and play our best.
And Moriah, we understand you have a brother, Trevor, who
Yeah.
he plays college golf where?
St. Martin's University. It's also
Which
down
is in Lacey, right?
Yeah.
So is he? He's played the course.
Yeah, he's definitely played the course a few times. I'm hoping to get some insight on that. So I'll call him up, ask him what's good.
And we were joking about it before. He's not even in Lacey this week, though, right?
He's in Palm Springs with my dad, of course, while I'm at state. But
So little sister makes it to the state championships in the city that he goes to college, and he's not even there. But he's going to still try to help you out a little
yeah,
bit.
he'll try to help me out as best he can.
So very cool. Well, hey, tell me about your games a little bit. Maybe here, let me do this. How about we have you each tell me something about the other's game? So, Hannah, I'm going to start with you. Tell me about Moriah. And first, I want to point out, Mary Wrights, your coach, sent me an email and says, Moriah physically is the strongest young player I have ever met. Does that sound about right when we're talking about Moriah?
Definitely. She has a beautiful swing, and sometimes, it's a little off, a little inconsistently, but she definitely, like, when she wants to play good, she plays good, and she puts her mind to it and comes out with a really good score. She hasn't played her best this season, which makes her upset and mad, but she definitely, handles it well. And I think golf is super, like, it's a very emotional sport, and you, like, really, it's your mind that's really in it. And so she handles it really well, though. So.
And Moriah, I have to admit, when I saw that quote, I hadn't met you yet, so I was thinking you were going to be much taller and bigger. And so where's the power coming from?
I don't know. I mean, I've played volleyball like since I was young, so I've just been like in and out of like activities and staying fit. So I like strong.
Strong, you're ready.
And I grew up with brothers, so like.
So that helps too.
Yeah, wrestling matches,
The secret to the success, right there. Tell me a little bit about Hannah. Hannah Petterson. She's been to state 4 times now.
Yeah.
You're about to go to state
Hannah,
for a 4th time.
she's crazy. She's really strong in a way that's like her game is very strong. So like when she's going up to the tee, she's gonna be like thinking as she's going, and like her drive is just gonna be perfect right down the fairway, like deep in. This season I think has been a pretty happy season for her because she's been doing pretty well, and like watching our team do pretty well, she's felt a lot better. It's been nice seeing you at matches because you're like. At the end, you're like smiling.
She's got a team around her.
Not crying.
Not crying.
And we should point out too, this is a team where, and I know I notice it even when I look at scores, and both of you brought it up when you came in today. So many times when we see team success, there's usually that 1 or 2 or 3 golfers who have the really low scores and they're kind of carrying everybody else, and then you've got a few other people sprinkled in. Yeah. There's a lot of consistency on this team.
Yeah.
I mean, many of you kind of shooting in that same range there a lot. So, Hannah, who else are we watching right now? Who else is out there with you? Who's going to state, I guess I should ask.
Nicole Burnett,
Sarah
Wrights, Eliza
Maloney.
Couldn't remember her last name. So they're all definitely coming up, and watch out for them because
2
they're
sophomores,
really,
1 freshman.
Yeah,
They're really good.
they're strong players.
Yeah.
And they're just going to get stronger.
Team. Yeah.
And Moriah, you mentioned to me also there were a couple other girls that we need to make sure that we know because of their seasons.
They ended their seasons short. Bella Johannes and Grace Basic. They had to just end them short for personal and health reasons. So we miss them. We want them back on the team next year. It's going to be a good season next year.
So what is the team dynamic like? Because, again, when you only have 1 senior, it got to be a little bit different for you. You look around and you don't see any of your classmates with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it still a team that's bonded well, a team that gets along fairly well?
Yeah, definitely is. Me and Moriah are pretty close, and we wanted to bring the team, closer together as a whole because we have a lot of younger classmen that, might not feel as like welcome or, as close to the upperclassmen, and we didn't want that, difference between us, so we really worked hard to, make sure that they felt as if they were like, include us in, in everything we do.
And Moriah, how's that come off so far? I mean, in terms of a lot of the freshmen and sophomores, are they a lot of bonding experiences, I guess, too?
Yeah, I think we all are mixing well now. Like, it doesn't really matter what grade you're in at this point. We're kind of just all a team. And, like, it's been nice. Like, at districts, you could tell that also. Like, everyone coming in, we were just congratulating everyone. It was a full team.
Waiting at the 18th hole.
Yeah, waiting at the 18th hole for them to come back.
Nice.
The person yelling at us, don't talk to them.
Tell me a little bit about Coach Wrights, because we had Rachel Putz in here last week from Edmonds-Woodway, and when I was talking to Rachel, she even made it a point to she was talking about some of the camaraderie between the 2 teams and how it's a friendly rivalry. And when I asked about the Meadowdale team, the coach is so nice. Yeah. Is Coach as nice as Rachel says she is?
Yes,
What's it like playing for Coach?
I don't think we've ever seen her like with a mean face or any, like she's so sweet, and she makes us feel like, we can do it and like we have the power. And she's like a mom to us. She just takes care of everyone and really, puts an effort to, make us feel like we got this.
Yeah, because she knows we do. So
yeah. Favorite course you've played on this year?
Oh.
We've got casual golfers out there listening. Where do they?
Overall.
How about overall? Why not?
I think Indian Canyon at State. It's such a beautiful course, and like the scenery is just like it's so pretty, and it's just like the clubhouse is way up top, and then you can look over like the holes, and it's just super pretty up there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mariah, what about you?
I'd say for like a tough course, Bear Mountain, which is over in I think Chelan. It's over like in like the vineyards and stuff like that, but it's a crazy course. There's a bunch of tee boxes that just are up high and then it drops down to the fairway. It's a lot of fun though, and Gamble Sands. definitely is a really nice course that I love playing. So those are some-
Anybody wants to take some notes? Maybe get out there and you've got all summer to do that coming up, and hopefully the weather's going to be ideal for that. As far as when you're not golfing, Hannah, I understand you do a little dirt bike riding.
I do.
And not exactly something we're accustomed to hearing from a golfer, but
Yeah, it's a little bit different, very opposite, but I've been doing it since I was little, and so I just continue to, keep that up. And
it's kind of a family affair, I
yeah,
understand.
we all my whole family ride, so it's a family outing.
And you thought about doing it competitively at one
Yeah.
stage in your...
My freshman year, I was going to start racing competitively, but then I got into golf, and that just kind of took off. So my parents were like, "Okay, golf has a better, outcome, and dirt bike riding's a little, dangerous with competitive."
Yeah, compared to golf, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot safer. So I just took that path and just, rode for fun and didn't really go competitively.
So a family that rides together. Yeah. And then Moriah, you've got a family that golfs together, right?
Yeah, our entire family golfs together.
Is
yeah.
it competitive when they get out there, or is it just kind of a fun thing to do as a
Yeah,
group?
it's pretty competitive. My dad's like right on the edge of being like a good golfer, so like me and Trevor always have to beat him, and I'm like pretty mean to him when we play with him. But it's all fun and games.
Can Dad beat either of you at this point then, or
He can beat me for sure. He's definitely gotten a lot better, but not Trevor.
not the college
Ever.
player, not yet
I don't
anyway,
think
right?
he'll ever beat Trevor.
That's fair. We understand that. And then as far as the future after the season's over, Hannah, you're a senior. So what's next?
I'm going to go to Wazoo and study elementary education, and then hopefully I might walk on for the golf team. So we'll see how that goes.
So working with kids is something you do a lot of volunteer work. We should
Yeah.
point out too through your church, and a lot of that is kid based too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I do the food pickup from Panera for the food bank, and then help out with the kids, and it's just something that I love.
And a lot of screaming 5, 6, 7-year-olds. That's tough though.
Yeah.
You ready for that eventually?
Yeah.
So that sounds like something that'll be interesting for you.
Yeah.
And we should mention a cougar and a house full of huskies too,
Yeah,
right? So that'll
it's going to be a little bit of...
see how that
Yeah.
goes over. Moriah, you've got a year left. Any ideas what you want to do down the road?
I'd like to go out of state for college. I know that somewhere sunny, so I can, get out of Washington for a little bit. I'll come back though, but probably Cali or Arizona, and I want to study maybe like chem or biomed, something in the science kind of side of majors. So
Okay. And of course, a golfer throwing out California and Arizona, always wanting
Yeah.
to find that sunshine where they can play year round too. So it sounds like the future is very bright for both of you, but the immediate future is what we're really looking at right now.
Yeah.
Big week coming up. Again, Tuesday and Wednesday will be the state championships down in Lacey.
Yeah.
And again, just enormous success for this Meadowdale team this year. It's been kind of fun to watch from afar. And
Yeah.
I need to say it one more time. Undefeated in league play, Wesco League champs for the first time
Yep.
ever. And they took second at districts to an Arlington team that's always a formidable
Yeah.
opponent. So congratulations on all your success
Yes.
this year so
Thank
far.
you.
And best of luck this week.
Thank you.
thank you.
What an impressive season for the Meadowdale golfers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it surprised them a little bit just based on the conversation we had with them. And yeah, anytime you can do something that's never been done at your school, kind of a neat story for the girls. And obviously, if they can bring their families back in there someday and point to the plaque. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that was rather unexpected, but it sounds like they've put a lot of hard work into it and just really solid across the board. And as they mentioned, Hannah's the only senior on that squad, so they might be back at it again next year.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a theme we're seeing. We're going to see a lot of people coming back next year with, underclassmen who are going to be bringing teams up. So, and on the note of end of seasons and next year, we've got some teams that kind of ended up being eliminated.
We have some sports that we're not going to be
Yeah,
talking about anymore
right.
for the sake of this show anyway. Yeah, soccer, we'll start with that one. Meadowdale, and again, we have to give a nice shout out here. The Mavericks boys soccer team, first time to state since I think 2005. Unfortunately, once they got to the round of 16, it's a single elimination. They lost to Interlake earlier this week. And so their season comes to an end. And Mount Lake Terrace, who also made it to the round of 16 at the state level, losing an overtime game to Ellensburg, 1-0. So both Mount Lake Terrace and Meadowdale, you can say that you made it to state, and that's always a big deal. So congratulations on a successful season, but better luck next time, and we'll talk more about them next year. And then baseball. We had one team that make it to state. It was the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors baseball team. And a lot of folks around the state probably aren't giving them too much sympathy right now. This is a team that made it to the state semifinals each of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Something that's rather unprecedented for almost any school out there. Not going to be a third year. They did make it to the state round of 16. However, over the weekend, they lost to a very good Mountain View team. So the Warriors baseball season comes to an end. But again, another state trip for them, and another fantastic year for Dan Somoza and the rest of the guys over there.
That's right. And the last year for the members of the Little League World Series baseball team that we all watched on ESPN. And then this is their senior year for all those guys who ended up continuing to play through high school. So congrats to them on all they did to help their teams compete over the years. And Meadowdale, too.
Yeah, some of those guys playing at Williamsport over there at on ESPN, and
Yeah.
some of those players have also had a chance to play at what was then Safeco Field and now T-Mobile Park, and they've had a nice little run. So bigger things to come from them too, I'm sure.
That's right. Okay. Well, we will have a lot to talk about at our next segment. We're going to actually give the dust time to settle on Memorial Day weekend and give the athletes a chance to come back from their respective tournaments. So we'll skip a week and have a weekend to do other things, and then we'll be back the first weekend in June to report on all the results.
Yeah, definitely. We're hoping to maybe, who knows, maybe we'll have a state champion or two, or at the very least some folks that place at state, and we'll give all those results and hopefully catch up with some of those athletes and talk about their success over the weekend.
Yeah, we hope to do that. So have a great week, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.